Hey everyone, Dr. Adrienne Castrovinci with Healthy Living Chiropractic. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about solutions for your skin. There's all kinds of different issues that can happen with the skin. We're going to really focus today on two of them. We're going to talk about acne and eczema, and then we're going to discuss kind of the integral parts that the skin plays in our body. We're going to discuss these two specific issues in detail, kind of talk about symptoms, talk about what types of things occur with each of them, and then we're going to talk about solutions that we have in our office that can help you with these certain kinds of issues. So first of all, if you like what we talk about, feel free to like, comment, share this information with someone that you know is dealing with some skin concerns, and we look forward to connecting with them and helping them. Okay, so let's get started. Your skin is your biggest organ. In your average adult, it accounts for over 15% of the body. So that's a ton, or the total body weight, excuse me, and covers a surface area of 22 square feet. So that's quite a big surface area. It actually serves as a very important barrier from the body to the outside world and the environment. So it protects our body from bacteria, from different harmful chemicals, environmental toxins, and extreme temperatures that we encounter. Here in the state of Minnesota, we get to minus 44 degrees or minus 40 degrees. Our skin and all the other elements of it help to keep our body warm, comfortable, and all that's because of what it does. So the functions include both internal and external. So it regulates body temperature, like I mentioned, keeps us warm, but also cools us down. And sweat occurs when the body sweats, or the skin, sweats when we're too hot. Helps to cool us off. It helps to release toxins through sweating. So we're going to get into that a little bit more deeply with us today, because we'll talk more about what the toxic exposure and load, what that does to the skin itself. Prevents water loss so that your body doesn't dehydrate. Produces vitamin D. So there are things in cells inside our skin and integumentary system that are designed to make vitamin D. So the sun exposure turns it into vitamin D inside our bodies, which is fantastic. It detects sensations such as pain and touch, vibration, all of those things. So our skin is a sensory organ as well as a protective organ. It grows hair. So there's hair follicles, there's different pores, there's all kinds of different pieces that are controlled that are there in the dermis, epidermis layers. And it also protects against infection. So the lymphatics system is located kind of in the deeper level in the deeper layer of the skin, and that helps with your immune system function. So the big thing that we're going to be discussing here is drainage. And so we talked about the lymphatic system is located inside the skin. When that lymphatic system isn't draining properly, isn't moving things properly, toxins can then back up. Your skin, again, being your biggest organ, if toxins in our body are not being released properly or moved through properly through our bowel system, through our liver, kidney, other kinds of excretory parts of our system, or the lymphatic system, then things can then back up and come out the skin. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about with our two things today, is just kind of how that toxic overload can then turn into a skin condition. And so many of you guys don't think of it that way, and that's kind of the point of this conversation, is to really discuss the importance of the skin and just how closely it relates to the health inside the body, not necessarily on the outside. All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about acne. Acne is basically a skin condition that occurs when the hair follicles get infected. They become plugged with oil, dead skin cells, bacteria, things like that. And when those little pores inside our skin get clogged up, then your body is again producing oil, and it then creates essentially a small infection or a skin eruption or a boil, or there's all kinds of different names for them. But basically it's when the skin is infected, the skin is damaged. So it often can cause what's called whiteheads, blackheads. It can also cause pimples. So all of these things are characteristic of acne. There is a cystic acne, which actually can kind of develop more of a fluid-filled cysts underneath the skin, extremely uncomfortable, very painful, and extremely uncomfortable to look at as well. And most oftentimes it does tend to wreak havoc more during the pubescent times. So teenagers that are going through puberty, and also women most often that are having significant hormonal fluctuations with their period. So, but it does affect people of all ages. It does affect men as well. It's present on the face, on the chest, and on the back most often, but it can be in other parts of the body too. So the big cause, oftentimes people look at it as hormonal. So again, there's very times that we talked about where there's rushes of hormones like estrogen and progesterone. But as we've talked about before in the past with premenstrual issues and menopause type issues, hormonal fluctuations, hormones are supposed to be secreted throughout our body. We're not supposed to store them. And oftentimes if our liver is clogged or not working properly, you can store excess estrogen inside that liver. So the big number one thing we want to look at is cleaning out that liver and making sure that we don't kind of clear out the estrogen that is present. A couple of big supplements that we use, KL Support is my favorite. Kidney liver support really works on detoxifying that liver. The big thing I'd want to find out if a person is dealing with acne is, are they pooping daily? Bowel Mover is huge for that, getting that stuff flowing, because the more toxins that are inside your body, the more toxins are going to be exuding out onto the skin. The other thing is a new supplement I've talked about before with you guys, Drainage Activator, is fantastic at getting that lymphatic system flowing through. So like I said, this lymphatic system is located within the deeper layers of the skin. If it is clogged, if it is stagnant, if it is not moving properly, a product like Drainage Activator will get things moving through so that we can kind of get these toxins pulled out so they're not coming out of the skin. That is first and foremost the thing that we want to do. There's a few other supplements I have too, one called Estro that is really designed especially for women who have increased estrogen. Acne is one of the symptoms of having excess estrogen. So a supplement such as Estro can also help to support that as well too. The big thing is keeping your skin clean, and that is a pretty common, but getting clean with what types of things. You want to make sure you're using clean products that don't contain parabens, phthalates, benzos, not benzos, you know what I mean, benzenes, that's the word I'm looking for, benzenes. And those are chemicals that are very toxic to our body. There's a lot of those chemicals as well that are considered estrogen mimickers or estrogen, they're called phytoestrogens. And what they do is they actually, because of these chemicals, and they're made, generally they come with plastics, they then turn into estrogens within your body and actually helps to increase your estrogen load. So cleaning out, not using plastic chemicals, not using products that contain those types of things is kind of rule number one to kind of getting those things out of your system. Using clean products, keeping your skin clean, decreasing sugar intake, decreasing, not fatty foods, but your processed foods. All those processed things, those high omega-6s are going to be very inflammatory. Acne is an inflammatory situation as well too. So getting on some anti-inflammatory supplements, turmeric, resveratrol, EPA, DHA will all really help to support your skin. So I've just given you guys a laundry list of things that can help if you're dealing with acne or if someone that you know is dealing with acne. I'd love to have them reach out and do what I can to help out. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is eczema. Eczema is something that is extremely common. I see it a lot with kids, especially nowadays. And basically it's called atopic dermatitis, and it basically occurs anywhere in the body. Can vary from person to person. Most people will experience that either on their face, kind of on their chest, on the trunk, even in like the folds of the elbow or folds of the knee, kind of those warm, moist places. Places in the body. And it can be really uncomfortable. Dry, cracked skin is oftentimes a symptom, discoloration, inflammation, so redness, itching, pain, raised bumps. Sometimes they can break and they can kind of ooze and bleed, especially as we enter into the winter time here in Minnesota. The dryness and the cracking can be extremely painful for people. So eczema is a really, really big problem. And eczema is also considered an inflammatory condition. I was looking up and doing a little research before this talk, and the MDs, their causes essentially are there's a genetic variation or a gene variation that can cause it, or it's familial. And I'm sorry, but I'm calling BS on that because it's not. It's related to toxic overload again. If you're kind of noticing a similar theme between acne and with eczema, it is most often toxic overload. People sometimes will have eczema when they eat too much dairy. That's basically an inflammatory reaction to this toxin, which is kind of the dairy or something in the food that is causing the body to react. So eczema is essentially an inflammatory reaction generally caused by toxins. So we're going to say the same exact tune. If the liver isn't clearing properly, lymphatic system isn't draining properly, the body and the toxins will then come out the skin. So that's the big thing we see, especially with children, is the skin issues. So my treatment is get to the root cause and handle the problem. Big solutions for people that deal with eczema are diet changes. Try to limit the dairy and the gluten. Eliminate the glyphosate, which we've talked about before too. The glyphosate, which is the chemical that's in Roundup on a majority of all of non-organic products, and even in some organic products, let's be honest. Choosing clean products for the skin. So again, if you're putting on creams and things like that for the eczema, you want to make sure you're putting on coconut oil, you're putting on organic coconut oil, you're putting on jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, things that are extremely clean and natural. Get things at your health food store versus at Target or Walmart or Walgreens. I would not put anything medicated, especially on a child, because a lot of those toxins are then coming back into the skin. You've got irritated, infected skin, and you're throwing on toxins on top of it is just a recipe for disaster. So you want to put as clean, comfortable stuff on it as possible. Keep the skin dry. Those are all really good things. But what I really want to share with you is a case study of a little boy that I've been working with recently. He's 6 months old, and after his 2-month well baby check, his mom took him into the doctor. Shortly after his doctor appointment, where he received certain things that happen at child baby visits, he started experiencing eczema, and he had a severe skin reaction where he was extremely uncomfortable. He was crying often. He wasn't able to sleep. Mom and baby were miserable. He went from a really happy baby to a very uncomfortable baby. And this isn't a patient of mine. This is actually another chiropractor friend of mine's patient. She actually referred mom over to me saying, hey, I think Adrienne can help. And we can. So the big issue with him is toxic exposure. So we got him right away on Toxcord. Toxcord, this is a liquid supplement that little babies and even children can take. And what this is homeopathic. It's designed to help pull toxins out of the body. We got him on Toxcord, and we got him on Drainage Tone. These two things right here are designed to remove the toxins from the body and help to drain them, okay? After the first week I followed up with them, his skin cleared up a lot. The redness had gone from bright red to kind of a super light pink. He was able to sleep. He was much more comfortable. And so far in 1 week, he made huge gains in just that week. We then added Carboxy, which is a binder, to his regimen about a week after. And I'm happy to report that he is doing great. He is sleeping well. This is a powder, so it's just taken by an oral syringe. And this little 6-month-old is finally happy and healthy again after dealing with eczema that was caused by the visit at his doctor's. So I just want to share that with you. The big take home with all of this is if you are dealing with skin conditions such as eczema or acne, take a look at the internal body as well. I would love to have a conversation with you to see if some of the supplements that I recommended today can help. If you want to do an actual QNT new patient, I would love to discuss this and find out how it is that we can help. And then lastly too, we're offering our Black Friday special right now where all of our supplements are 15% off between now and the end of the month. So now is the time to get started on this health process. So hope you guys learned something today. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.